All right, team, in this video, we're going to talk about how to add your spot ATA. Your spot ATA is added very similar to your futures ATA. The only difference is you do need to have the exchange set up to point towards the spot account. So you can see here I have my live trader set up, I have my futures account set up, but I do not have a spot. So I would have to click in here and click on Big Get Spot, which would populate the API key request. Now, to create another API key, you would just log into your Big Ed account, create a new API key, and you can use that API key to connect to your Big Ed spot. Once you click the spot, if you're using Big Ed, you would click this one. If you use any of these other ones, you would click those and follow the same steps. It will add another exchange here. Once that exchange is added into here, now you would click on the trading ATA, and we'll let that load up here for 1 second. And then inside the trading ATA, you're going to scroll to the very bottom here. And that's where all of our ATAs are. We're just going to simply find the one that says spot. We're going to click add. When you click add, I don't currently have an additional exchange. So if you see this, that's because you did not add your API for your exchange. You should have a pop-up here that says to choose your exchange, the one that you titled spot. You would choose that, create your ATA. Then you'll see something get created, kind of like here where it says Ultron, but it'll say BotJock Spot, BotJock Live Trader, etc. And then whatever exchange you're using, it'll populate that little image there. So that's how you add it back into your BotJock account. Once you have it added into your BotJock account, then you're going to give us time to process that. Once we process it, then just like the other one, you're going to come into your indicators. You're going to click invite only scripts. You're going to find the one that says BotJock Spot Trader. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. It will pop up the emails. I'm going to do botjock@gmail.com and ATA. But this is your BotJock email, just like futures, and your passphrase, just like futures. That's my test when I do. And you're going to notice here, it pops up spot version 1.01. And look, it actually populates what this would have done in spot, basically the past performance as far as if I were to start at ApeCoin. So I have it on ApeCoin here. I love ApeCoin. You can see it does really well. Look at these DCA points on the back test. I mean, absolutely just crushed this this spot here, right? Now, the key to spot, the difference is it's the setup is very similar to futures. If you have done futures, if you have not done futures, and you're new to it and you're only setting up a spot, just follow along. We'll walk you through that. So first things first, you want to make sure that the coin you want to trade is correct up here. So I'm trading ApeCoin. If you're trading ETH, you would simply click here, change this to ETH or BTC or whatever you want to trade. So as long as this right here matches in this gear, right, where you change the settings on the indicator, as long as it matches the pair that you're doing here, then you're fine, right? So we want to make sure this says Ape and that says Ape if we are trading ApeCoin. So the other thing that you want to make sure is the currency is the same. So we did add it as USDT. We want to make sure that matches. If you're doing BitGet, you would choose BitGet. Any of the other ones, you would choose the exchange that you're trading on. We would then choose our strategy that we want to use. Then the only difference is on the spot versus the futures is the trade amount here that you put is in dollars. It's not in volume, it's in dollars. So for example, on the default here, I'm basically going to trade $15 every time it executes a trade. So even when you come down into the DCA, when you get a DCA, that's a dollar cost average. That's where it's going to add more volume at 0.9% change in price. What that percent is basically if I open up a coin at 4.87 to buy it, when the price goes backwards 0.9%, it will basically enter another trade, another volume trade. This is a multiplier. This will be 3 times whatever this number is what that means. So if I do an entry there, let's say it does a buy, it will do a $15 trade entry. When it gets down 9% in a pullback, it will do 3 times that $15. That's how much that will add to that volume for your trade. And then I have DCA2 as 5 times and 5 times on 3. If you don't want to do 3 DCAs, you can simply uncheck it. If you don't want to do 2, uncheck it. If you want to do more, you can check it and add more. Now, we want to keep this in a flow, right? So you have 0.9, 3, 6. So let's say we choose 9 on this one, and let's say we do it 5 times. Now, the most important thing when you're choosing spot, this is what's kind of easier than futures to calculate, is how do you know you have enough money to even run this? So how you would know is you would have to take your total number of entries, which is 5, 10, 15, 18, right? And then we have our original entry. So we have 19 entries total. So what you would then do is we'll go ahead and open up our calculator, and you're going to take that 19 times 15, which is your original opening price. So in order to run this spot bot here at 4 DCAs, you would need to have at least $285 available for it to execute all of these trades. So as far as how much you need, it's going to be based on how much DCAs you have and how much trade amount you're using. So let's say I were to want to be a little more aggressive on this, and I want to do $100 because I have a little bit of a larger account. Then you would do the same thing. You would take entry 1 plus 3 would 4, right? 9, 14, 19. We're still 19, right? We haven't changed that. So then you're doing the 19 times 100. So you would need a total of $1,900 in your account for this to fully execute what you're telling it to do, right? And you can see in 21 days, it made about $74, right? Now, on spot, you have to remember, spot is a little safer. It's not going to make as much as futures is going to make unless you have a large account. So let's say you decided to do, example, a $20,000 account, because you can do spot even with our starter package, right? So let's say you have a $20,000 account. Let's do this in reverse. And you have 19 total entries. So we're going to divide 20,000 by 19. That means that you can do $1,052 to execute this fully every trade. So your $20,000 is going to make you $779 in 21 days. So roughly $1,000, let's say about $800 to about $900 to $1,000 per month. So spot is going to be worth it for those who have more to invest into it, because it's a lot safer, because you don't lose the money if the market happens to dump. You just simply own that particular coin. So that's why we pick very specific coins to trade it on. So that way, people that are running spot, it's still a good pair to hold, right? So that's how to understand the value of what you're trading and how that impacts here. If you're looking to trade a little more earning for your money, then you may want to look into potentially getting one of the futures accounts. So one of the futures ones, for example, would look like this over here. Let me pull up my Solana one. So this is like the futures one, right? So you can see the value is lower because that is based on when I stopped it, right? It just did the one trade here. It was a super small account, right? But you're going to choose one of the futures ATAs, which would look like this, Ultron. And you can see this is the futures options that we choose. So we have a little bit of material in there that explain a little bit more into the detail of the futures versus spot. So I don't want to go too deep into that. But the key things you want to remember when you're doing spot, the most important thing, everything else is pretty much the same as far as setup. So if you're wanting to understand how to do the default setup, just follow the steps of the default setup through the other videos. But the key point you want to focus on is that this is actual dollar amount. You have the USD or USDT, whichever pair that you're trading, whichever coin you want to do has to match the same as up here. And the take profits, we can leave default, or you can modify these if you want to increase them because it's trading spot, and how much times you want it to actually DCA. Now, when you dollar cost average, the higher this multiplier, the more impactful that's going to be on moving your entry. The reason why we DCA is if you look at, we'll use this one as an example here. It took a buy. thinking that we had support. The support broke. It happens. So it did a dollar cost average. It moved your buy entry from 4.76 to 4.73 because it bought it at a cheaper price. So now that you put more money into this trade, it brings that entry down to this white line. Then it continued to fall. It did another dollar cost average at 4.66, or I'm sorry, 4.62, which then brought it down to 4.66 as your average. So you can see how it's moving your entry down. And this is important because, see, as it pumps up, you're out in profit. That because of the dollar cost averaging that it did to pull your price down. Now, had it not did this dollar cost averaging, your take profit would still be up here. And it would have went through this whole thing and it would have got out in a profit up here, right? But there's no guarantees that this pump would have happened. So by dollar cost averaging, it gives the actual ATA an opportunity to move with the market and then catch the bounce on the way up from support. So you can see we had support over here. So it used the dollar cost average here, allowed it to get out, which allowed it to take multiple more additional trades. So that's kind of a little into the dollar cost average. To understand dollar cost averaging, you can visit the training video we have as far as related to dollar cost averaging and what that is. So back down here, you can use the stop loss if you like it. This is going to be check the box if you want it to not do any more trades after it triggers a stop loss. You're going to close the candle out the same way you would the futures. You enter the year, the month, the day, the hour, the minute, and you close your trade on chart. Now you're going to notice when you do enter this information that your status is going to change a little bit on there. So you're going to just enter this in year, month, day, hour, minute. You can find the hour and minute down here on your trading chart. Make sure that matches. If you are not on the right time zone, you just click this and change it to your correct time zone. Once you enter this in, you're just going to hit that close trade on chart if you're starting new, or enable existing trade if you're enabling an existing trade. Aside from that, the rest of this information you want to leave. This is just your pre-populated stuff to execute your trade once you do create your alert. So the pros and cons, again, we'll regroup on that, is running spot. The pros: you don't actually have an open trade like futures. So there's really no margin involved. You're not borrowing anything. You're buying with the cash that you have, meaning that on your exchange, you physically own that coin. So if the market continuously crashes, you're never going to lose that money. You may lose the value in the coin, which is why you see your overall balance go down, but you're not losing the actual money. So if the coin goes up, you gain that value back with the coin as it goes up. So it's no different than going onto an exchange and just buying Ethereum and then having it go backwards, but you don't care because you're holding it forever. That's the power of spot. And when it's going up, it's actually going to perform trades to buy and sell for you to earn actual more money as the market continuously moves up and down. So it's a little bit safer, but lower risk comes with lower reward. The only way that you're going to get the reward to be high enough trading spot is by having enough money in your account. Can you put a couple $100 in there? Sure. You're going to have a hard time covering your $99 a month fee though. If you're wanting to start small with like 500, $1,000, something like that, I highly recommend, and you still want to cover that fee because you're not doing anything else, I recommend that you do the futures trading on BigGet because it allows you to do both long and short. So there's a lot more money to be made. But there also is more risk, right? But we do have built-in preset volumes that help you with kind of managing that risk, as well as some detailed training videos that will help you out. So, but again, for me, I run a futures and I run a spot. I like the spot because it's a little safer. I don't have to watch it, and it's just slowly earning me something on the backside while I try to maximize my profits on the future side. Again, if it goes up, I earn money. If it goes down, I earn more of the coin, and I'm okay with owning the coin because at some point we're going to go back up anyways, right? So I hope that helps you understand a little bit about the differences of spot, what that is, what it does. You can see here in ApeCoin, there's a lot of great trades that can be made. In the last 21 days, it made 200 trades and it had a DCA 67 times. But it did really well. If you have the money to put it in here, it could really earn some good money for you without worrying about the liquidation of losing it all. So again, I hope that helps you out. Check out the other videos to fully understand the detailed features. All of our ATAs are managed the same under the indicator gear. All of these settings are mostly the same. The only thing that is different is how the volume is determined on the trade amount right here. Take profits are the same, DCAs are the same, all this other stuff is all the same. So please visit the other videos, and I hope that helps you out. And if you have any questions, like always, reach out to support@botjock.com or inside our community.